the sixth criteria that we try to help teachers focus on in a mathematics lesson, believe it or not, is funny because to me, because it's totally absent from almost every math lesson, and yet it's so important. In fact, what I'm about to say, there is clear evidence that the way you choose to do this is actually how kids will feel about the math lesson. Isn't that funny? Like their actual feelings about the math lesson will be all based on what you do next with what this issue is. So the sixth criteria, believe it or not, is student-led closure. And isn't it funny, because even as I say this to you, you're going like, yeah, I don't really do closure. You know, closure is like, means you actually stop the lesson in time before the bell rings, if it's middle school or high school, or before your math time is up in elementary. You actually don't say, no, don't go yet, don't put your books away yet. You know, it's actually, you've designed a closing activity. But the key to what I just said is that it's a student-led closing activity, right? So it can't be me leading the closing. You know, it can't be me saying, hey, here's what we learned today. Here's what our standard was. Here's what I got out of the lesson today. Here's what you should have learned. Here are the kinds of problems you should be able to do. So what we teach in this criteria are a variety of prompts that you can use as a student-led closing. So this is where students are either going to write in a journal or they're going to write on some type of exit note or whatever. They're going to either write a prompt about what their understanding is of the standard of the day, or they're going to perhaps do one final problem if that's what you want as a demonstration of understanding. But usually they're doing something where they write about their level of confidence and their level of understanding of that particular standard for the day. And that's really important. So it's kind of, think of it as a confidence-competence thing, and you're having them self-evaluate. And there's a lot of evidence that if they will self-evaluate their own understanding, they're more likely to be persevering during the lesson and listening and actually engaging, because they're beginning to learn, oh, that's right, I'm supposed to own my learning today. So it's really important that we are willing to take time to think about our lesson is not ending when we do the final problem, but our lesson ends with the closing activity, and that's actually built in. And I want to just tell you, this is really hard. I didn't even think about it. I probably taught 12 years and never once put a closing activity into my lesson. So I want to admit that, because I think it never occurred to me to make sure that was an active part of my lesson design. So there's really nothing more to it than that. I wouldn't take much more than 3 to 5 minutes of class time to do it, but it definitely should be done.